Listen, you got to win the battles against yourself. That's what this is about. It's about how can you make sure that when nobody's looking, you are still doing what you got to do. That's what all of this, getting better, getting your life, your money, your health better. That's what all of this is about. If you can't win the battle with you, you're not going to reach any goals that you want to reach. The people that you see out in the world who are doing better than average, who look like they are succeeding, they have won the battle with the inner bitch more than the average person has. That's all. That's the only difference between you and them. We sometimes get this falsehood, and I think media spreads this kind of shit too. That after you build up a habit of doing something, that now all of a sudden it's easy and you like it. Like, oh, after 30 days of working out, after X amount of days of going to the gym, X amount of days saving money, you're gonna be like, this is just child's play. No. Having discipline for a certain amount of time does not guarantee discipline in the future. That's not how this works. Every day of your life, it's going to be a fight to kill the person inside, the voice inside you that is saying, you don't need to do this. Take a nap. Not a big deal. Every single day. That is a lifelong commitment that you're making. It's a lifelong commitment to say, I am going to battle the inner demon every single day and realize that sometimes I'm going to lose. That's the part that nobody likes. That's the part nobody likes, because most people, when they lose once, they throw in the white towel. They throw up the flag. They're like, nah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. But think about the rest of your life. If you treat the rest of your life that way, where every time something hits you in the mouth, you just sit there and don't get back up, where are you going to end up? See, there's a lot of parallels to the way you talk to yourself and the way the world treats you. That if you come into the world with the mindset of, listen, I don't care what the hell comes from me. They might push me down, but they can't keep me down. If that's how you look at the world, there's going to be very few things that you can't figure out or conquer, regardless of how much pain it might bring you. But if you look at the world the other way, you look at the world as, it's just been so hard. If one more thing hits me today, I can't. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm done. Like if that's where you're at, the bitch inside is winning. The voice inside you is winning. Now there could be a lot of reasons for that, but I'm not saying any of your reasons aren't valid. Let me just be very clear. But what I am saying is that the rest of the world and your goals, they're not going to care. They're not going to care that you've been through a lot of things. See, that's the unfortunate part of life that a lot of us haven't come to terms with yet, is that the world, everybody in the world has their own problems, which is why so few people care about yours. If you care less about your issues than you expect other people to, it's going to be a long, hard life. Which is why you got to be able to conquer what you do when nobody else is here. Give you an example. I'm making my YouTube video today, okay? Nobody else is in my house right now. Now, yesterday, the day before yesterday, and the day before that, I did not make a YouTube video. I didn't win. The bitch won. The voice in here that said, don't worry about it. Don't do it. That won. Now, I can make a lot of excuses to you right now about how I was busy and the new baby kept me up and, I got work and this and this and this. Who cares? I committed to being on YouTube. I did that. I said that. And I said that knowing I have a family, knowing I have a job. Nobody cares, because the result doesn't change based on what excuse you have. The result is I didn't make a video the last 3 days. That's the result regardless of why. I didn't do it. I didn't master myself enough to follow through on the thing I said I was supposed to do. See, I'm not talking to y'all about this as someone who has mastered myself. I just want to be really clear about that. Nobody in this world has mastered themselves. There are people who have more control than others. I am building control. That's what I am after, building more control. But I am certainly not without fault. I fuck up all the time. I'm speaking to you as somebody who fucks this up a lot. And someone who reflects on those fuck ups often. Someone who is in my own head often. I'm sharing with you why I know a lot of y'all are also struggling. This is not unique to you. A lot of us, when we get in our own head, we think, oh my God, my trauma, my problems, my this, my that, they're so devastating. If anyone else is going through this, no, most people are going through some version of that. Some not as bad, some worse, a lot worse. Once you start to contextualize what it is that your human experience is having you feel, and you start applying it to the rest of the world, you start realizing that this is not unique to you, and that everybody else is in the same battle, and a lot of them are losing the battle, which is why so many of them are so unhappy. Once you start to realize that kind of thing, when you start to realize that a lot of the people who say they want to be healthy cannot put the fork down, not because they don't have access to food. It's never been about access. It's never been about knowledge. You're all watching me on a smartphone, on a device that has access to the internet where you can find everything that you need. It's never been about that. Once you realize that, you realize, oh, it's this. They can't conquer this, because when you see someone not doing what they're supposed to do, not on their job, the thing you can very easily, from the outside looking in, you can say, get your ass up, go do this, go do this. But see, from their perspective, they feel the way you feel when you sit your ass down. I don't want to. And they have been lulled to sleep, like a lot of us are, by the inner voice that wants us to be comfortable. Our brains do a great job of trying to convince us that everything we experience that is uncomfortable is turmoil and it should be avoided. The unfortunate part of that biological truth is that it isn't true. A lot of the things that are feeling like they're turmoil are actually hard things that are good for us to go through. Imagine if I looked at my life and I said, you know what, everything that's difficult, I'm not going to bother with that. Family, being a husband, a father, that's hard. That's really hard on me. I'm not doing that. See, when you start to think like that, you start to realize that there's some people who think like that, you look around and you say, oh, that's why there's so many kids out here without daddies. That's why there's so many kids out here without mamas, because they couldn't win over the voice. The voice fucked them up. And it superseded what the responsibility they had in front of them. That's why so many people grow up in fucked up relationships. That's why so many people grow up with messed up financial situations, because the people around them or them, they couldn't get control of the voice long enough to see the results. The only difference between me and them is not that I'm smarter or I have more knowledge. It's not none of that. It's control. It's control. I have slightly more control than they do. And if you look at the most successful people that you know, I'm willing to bet, unless they were just lucked into money like the lottery, I'm willing to bet that the higher up in success you go, the more control you're going to find. They have more control over themselves because that's what's required. So understand, we are all going to fuck up. We are all going to fall. The difference between you, who has never gotten back up, and me is that I refuse to stay sitting. I will get knocked down several more times over the course of my life. Several. I'm guaranteeing it. I don't care. Because the way I look at the world is, there's nothing out there that's going to stop me from getting what I want to get to. It might take me longer. I might spend more money than I should. I might eat more bullshit than I should. I might make more mistakes than I should. But I'm going to get there. I guarantee you I'm going to get there. All right? How do you think about it? Talk to y'all later.